Okay, so Visa has responded to why they are censoring games, and let's watch this video.
Imagine trying to buy a game on Steam only to find out it's vanished. Not because it's illegal, but because Visa and MasterCard decided you can't buy it. Over the last few weeks, tens of thousands of games have been removed from both Steam and itch.io, and it's all due to pressure from payment processors. This isn't just about a few controversial titles, it's affecting everything from small indie projects to mature but otherwise legal games. It's a new
Of course, they don't care if the things are legal, but they are still legal. But if they and the government don't like the things, they can just, find other ways to, censor things. And that's what they are doing. That's all this is.
reality where gamers no longer get to decide what they can buy. But gamers aren't just sitting back. There are reports of a mass campaign, Operation Fighting Fire with Fire. Their goal? To bombard MasterCard and Visa with calls and emails, mirroring the tactics used by groups like Collective Shout, who initially targeted Steam. Collective Shout claimed
I legally can't say that I support this, but that you should do it. But I'm not against this. Destroy those companies.
victory with around 1,000 emails, and gamers believe they can collectively shout much, much louder, simply letting MasterCard and Visa know, hey, these games we want to buy are legal, let us spend our money. So, as gamers express their
And the worst thing is, you can still buy adult stuff with their credit cards. You can still do that. This is just a censorship thing that's going on. It's all political motivated. It has nothing to do with the safety of anyone. You can still buy adult content with their cards.
frustration, Visa has responded to multiple emails with what appears to be a copy paste response. I've seen multiple different emails, but they all had the exact same reply, so let's see what Visa has to say about the situation. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. This sounds fair. Visa says they follow
Yeah,
the law. Obviously, if something is illegal, that is its own situation.
sure. Sure, if things are illegal, yeah, you can't use their products to pay for it. Sure. But the thing is, these things are legal. If they were illegal, they wouldn't be on Steam. Steam literally doesn't allow me to buy games with swastikas in it because I live in Germany and that's illegal here, so I can't. Like, or for example, Subverse, the well-known corn game by a certain studio that's also on Steam. I can buy that because I live in Germany.
And I would agree that it should be banned from Steam. But these games we are talking about are legal, which is the problem. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers.
That's a lie. Very obvious because you literally do that on Steam. You literally do exactly that. That's a fucking lie.
This is a very strong statement. Visa claims they don't judge what people buy if it's legal, and if a purchase is legal, they process it. This sounds great. This is what you would assume a payment processor would do. But if you have been paying attention at all to this
Yes, but they don't. That's a very, very obvious lie.
situation, you would know this is simply not true. From games to crypto, guns, anime, porn, even energy companies, and so much more. But back to Visa's statement. If they don't make moral judgments, what does that even mean? It means they claim they don't care if content is adult, violent, or controversial as long
Then why don't they process the payments?
as it's legal. They say their job isn't to decide what's right or wrong morally, but just to make sure money moves for legal products. So they are saying one thing, but then doing the exact opposite. Visa continues in the email. Visa does not moderate content sold by merchants, nor do we have visibility into the specific goods or services sold when we process a transaction. This claim is also very clear. Visa says they don't look at the content being sold. Visa and MasterCard are intertwined in so many businesses around the world, you can't actually expect them to go through every single one to review and moderate everything. Visa.
Sure, I get that. Okay. But this is also a company that has a win margin of 50%, no, over 50%, which is no company other than a credit card company has that. Like literally, if you go to any company in your area, they don't have that. Like not even close. So they make an obscene amount of money. An obscene amount of money, which means they have an obscene amount of power. Because always remember, money is power. And they use this here to bully companies into submission.
Also says they don't see what's being sold when money moves. So if they don't see the content, how do they know if something is quote unquote risky? Well, they rely on reports from banks themselves, complaints from the public, or even activist groups to flag a merchant as risky. So Visa.
Okay, so basically we can do the same. That's interesting, we can do the same.
Won't look at every single game, but if a platform like Steam has a lot of content that's getting complaints, Visa can view the entire platform as a risk, which is how Collective Shout were able to get Visa and MasterCard to listen to them.
So how we go and complain about Collective Shell? Like 1 million emails about them?
By
How about
painting
that?
Steam and itch.io as this very bad place, asking them to demonstrate corporate social responsibility, and immediately cease processing payments. But Visa continues in their email. When a legally operating merchant faces an elevated risk of illegal activity, we require enhanced safeguards for the bank supporting those merchants. The last part is key. Visa says if a store has a high risk of illegal activity, they make the banks working with that store take extra steps to be safe. But notice they don't say the content is illegal, just that there's a risk of it. Visa.
Yeah, see that? Where the problem is? It's all assumptions. It's all assumptions. It's nothing like, oh yeah, these things are bad. No, it's like there might be things that might be bad.
Claims that they do not make moral judgments on legal purchases and do not moderate content. But let's compare that to what Valve and itch.io actually said about the recent changes. In classic Valve fashion, they were quiet on the issue, with the only official information we have from them is the new rule change and an official worded response they gave out to multiple different journalists. In their response, Valve hinted heavily that payment processors were threatening to cut them off. They stated they had to retire certain games because losing payment methods would prevent customers from buying any titles on Steam. This made it clear that Steam was now at the mercy of these payment processors.
Yes, and that will continue on to other companies. I don't know which one will be next. I don't know. Some things, maybe GOG. I don't know. Maybe Netflix, but Netflix already produces a lot of, bad stuff, and they're all in on that. What next? I don't know. Anything that's fun for the people.
Despite Valve's usual hands-off approach.
Patreon. Patreon has a lot of stuff, so they might go after Patreon. It wouldn't surprise me at all. They went after Pixiv and Steam, so why not Patreon?
To legal content. itch.io was even more direct. They flat out stated they changed their rules because payment companies threatened to block all payments on their platform. So if Visa isn't making moral judgments or moderating content, why were these threats happening over legal material? Is Visa implying Steam and itch.io are lying? Well, the answer is in one vague word: risk. Visa states they
Yeah,
require enhanced safeguards when there is an elevated risk of illegal activity. But
there is zero illegal activity on any of these sites. At least on Steam, there's zero. Because they're the biggest shop. They have to make sure everything is legal. That's why I can't buy games that are illegal in Germany. Because then they would get in trouble.
risk is a broad term. Often, it's not actually about illegal content, but about anything that might generate bad press or public protests. This gives power to groups like Collective Shout. They sent numerous emails, made phone calls, and ran public campaigns painting Steam and itch.io as risky places, urging these payment processors to cease business, which obviously led into them then pressuring Valve. These payment processors hold all this power because almost everyone uses their cards. So when they label a platform as risky, which often just means enough people complained, they can directly threaten that platform with losing access to their entire payment network. This also isn't
Can we do that with that feminist organization? Flag that organization as risky?
just about Steam and itch.io either. We've seen similar problems in Japan where businesses selling certain types of legal adult content have lost payment options from companies like Visa, often under the same risk umbrella. Even Visa's CEO in Japan has been vocally against adult content. This shows a clear pattern. Payment processors, despite their claims, directly influence what can be sold. If they decide
Yes. And in the video I just did before this, that's because they are owned by the same people that, own a lot of politicians and want a one world government. Woohoo! Conspiracy theories. They all turn out to be true, by the way. All of them.
a business is risky, even for legal content, that can effectively shut down that business's ability to operate. So this email from Visa is a clear example of a big company saying one thing, while their actions and the statements of the platforms they work with show something completely different. Now it's also important to remember, as this video did have a focus on Visa, there are other payment processors involved as well. There are some reports from people calling MasterCard that issues have escalated to a higher department, as they have been getting calls about this all week. Whether MasterCard's higher department actually does something is a different question that we will just have to wait to see. While the exact behind-the-scene details of what happened between payment processors and Steam are unknown, one thing is clear: Visa claims of no moral judgments don't match reality. They use vague terms like risk to deflect responsibility while controlling what content is bought and sold. This situation makes one thing very clear: payment companies like Visa and MasterCard have huge unchecked power. They shouldn't be.
Well, yes. Yes, of course. And that won't change because they they just pay the politicians to not have them take that power away, because that's how politics works, that's how democracy works. You pay the politicians and the politicians make decisions in your favor. That's how democracy works.
Allowed to dictate
And dictatorships and everything. I mean, democracy is not special in that. That happens all the time, everywhere. That's normal.
what legal content can be bought or sold online simply by labeling it risky. Because what really is risky? This unchecked power must be challenged. Payment processors, with their monopoly on transactions, operate as essential services, like electricity or water. They should be forced to provide fair access to all legal purchases. This is something.
Yes, I completely agree 100%. Now, will we see that? No. No. Because the politicians are in the pockets of the payment processors.
hopefully we see happen in the future. That's why collective action is so important. From calling and emailing Visa and MasterCard directly to supporting policies like the Fair Access to Banking Act, gamers are making their voices heard. They're now telling elected officials that these powerful companies are overstepping by blocking legal purchases. There are petitions already, with over 100,000 signatures, and I'm sure it will only grow as gamers start to realize how bad this problem really is. So what do you think about Visa's email? Do you think Steam and itch.io removed tens of thousands of games just because they wanted to and then blamed it on payment processors for no reason? One thing is clear. Gamers aren't accepting this response, and they want payment processors to stop deciding what content can be sold.
Um,
I
no,
found a very
it's not an excuse for Steam and itch.io to remove games. It's 100% payment processors. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if the feminist organization is just being paid to be the front that complained about these games. But at the end, the payment processors are behind it, or people that own the payment processors are behind that. And yes, conspiracy theory. But you know, at this day and age, how can you not believe in conspiracy theories if they all turn out to be true? And by the way, if you don't wanna, you can just not use Mastercard and PayPal and Visa. Like I will from now on go and buy I don't, maybe it's only in Germany, but in Germany you can buy um, oh Jesus Christ, cards for Steam, 25 bucks, 30 bucks, 50 bucks, I think even 100 bucks, basically in every store here. And I will do that. I will go buy them and pay in cash. I hope that helps. So I will from now on also not use PayPal again. To be fair, last week I used PayPal quickly for one purchase on Steam because I couldn't figure out how to pay with my bank account and I was too lazy to go to the store. I have to be very honest here, but yeah, from now on I will just buy currency for Steam in the store and then unlock it on Steam. That's how I will do it in the future. It's inconvenient, but I can just buy them when I do my grocery shopping. That's not a problem. So yeah, that's what I do. If what are you doing? Will you change anything about your Steam purchases? Will you do the same as me? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.